The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was the birth of a nation and the beginning of an idea that people should govern themselves and be free. Let's go back to the 1700s. 13 British colonies had grown along the east coast of North America. They worked hard, built communities, and lived under British rule. But after the French and Indian War, Britain was deep in debt. To raise money, the British government taxed the colonies. They passed laws like the Stamp Act, Townshend Acts, and Tea Act, taxing things like paper, tea, and everyday items. The colonists were outraged, not just because of the taxes, but because they had no voice in the British Parliament. They shouted, "No taxation without representation." Tensions grew. In 1770, British soldiers killed 5 colonists in what became known as the Boston Massacre. 3 years later, a group of colonists dressed as Native Americans dumped tea into Boston Harbor. This protest became famous as the Boston Tea Party. Britain responded harshly, punishing Boston with laws the colonists called the Intolerable Acts. That was the last straw. In April 1775, British troops marched to Concord, Massachusetts, to seize weapons. American militias met them in a small town called Lexington. No one knows who fired the first shot, but it became known as the shot heard round the world. The war had begun. Soon after, colonial leaders met in Philadelphia. They created the Continental Army and chose George Washington as commander. Then came a bold move. On July 4th, 1776, the colonies declared independence from Britain. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, stating that all men are created equal and have rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But freedom wasn't easy. The war lasted 8 years. The American army suffered losses, hunger, cold, and hardship. But they kept going. In 1777, a major victory at Saratoga convinced France to join the war on America's side. This changed everything. Then, in 1781, the final battle came. In Yorktown, Virginia, American and French troops surrounded British General Cornwallis. Cut off and outnumbered, he surrendered. The war was over. In 1783, Britain signed the Treaty of Paris, officially recognizing the United States of America as a free and independent nation. But the real revolution wasn't just the war, it was the idea that government should serve the people, not rule them. That all people deserve freedom, that nations can be built on rights, not kings. The American Revolution sparked a wave of change around the world, from France to Latin America, and it all began with 13 small colonies, standing up to a world superpower and believing in something bigger than themselves: freedom. Headphones.